Hey, how's it going? This is Phil,
This is Chase.
and this is Phil and Chase Watch Everything, episode 26.
I know that technically you are, but you sound like you're selling something. Anytime you're like,
I'm
hey,
selling
this is
my-
Phil." I feel like people will hear the beginning of this and be like, is this a Spotify app? Hey, it's Phil.
It's Phil, you
This
know
is
me.
Chase. Listen to us on Phil and Chase Watch Everything. More or less every Friday.
More or less, if it aligns, it aligns.
Yeah, maybe sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does.
Sometimes we're busy.
Sometimes we're busy.
Sometimes we don't watch enough.
Sometimes we don't watch enough, but sometimes we don't watch enough and we do a show anyways, as is the case today.
Yes, well, it just happens.
It just happens, you know.
But,
we could have skipped a week. We could have just waited, but we didn't.
yeah,
We didn't.
we could have at least waited till Wednesday, but here we are.
No, we didn't. We said, fuck that. We're doing
You
it.
know what? And for the listeners, today is a very, very special day.
It is a very special day.
It's May the 4th.
Yes.
One of my favorite days of the year. So
Yeah.
that's exciting. That's a big movie day.
It's true. Old Star Wars Day,
Yeah.
and it never fails. For the last several years, I always feel like we've got something going on May the 4th weekend.
It does seem to happen.
It
I
never
get mad.
fails.
I know it's happened for me. Definitely the last two May the 4th, because we did something happened last year to where I was busy because
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the festival. I think the Chicago festival. was May of last year.
because we were asked to go to someone's Cinco de Mayo
Yes,
party.
yes, we were.
Yeah. Okay. Then
Yeah.
there's been two times now where it's
Yeah.
like something's came up and I can't just sit down and binge the
Binge your
Star
Star
Wars
Wars, yeah.
movies. But I will try to do it Monday. So
I feel
we
you.
might have some more Star Wars talk.
I might get a little bit of Star Wars in. But yeah, it never fails. We're always doing something.
Always something.
Big filming weekend this weekend for not for us this time, but for our pals over at Camp Nostalgic Studios.
Yeah.
Shooting up season 4 and season 5, I believe, back to back, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if I'm leaking industry secrets.
You
here,
might
but
be.
Season 4 is coming out this year. I know that. I can say that. And it's going to drop in July, I believe, as it always does. Season 4, dude, that's exciting.
It is exciting.
I'm excited for them. It's been fun.
My first time again to be a part of the experience.
That is exciting. Season 4, and you're finally getting in the
Finally getting in a little bit.
in the
so-
craziness of it all. Yeah, new cast members this year, including yourself.
Yeah.
I'm excited for them. It's, I always say, people might not dig the Chase and Shep thing, but I feel like they might dig Camp Nostalgic. I feel like they have more of a PG-13 approach where we do the hard R.
Yeah.
They know how to be R-rated, but they still, have a class about it, a nostalgia about how they go about things. Very on brand.
Oh,
But-
for sure.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Continuing to be fun. We got more to do tonight.
Yep, we sure do.
Um,
Chase is gonna dance.
I'm gonna dance. Hopefully, I hope I don't get too bashful.
I hope not either, because I'm
But
gonna be
the thing
dancing.
is, to knowing me and my history of dance, it never fails that as long as you're there, I'll dance.
yeah,
Everybody else be damned. As long as I got my buddy, we
even
can.
I feel like I'm more likely to dance even if it is like a smaller crowd. Now, if it was like a huge room of people, like wall to wall,
I feel that.
and no one was
Yeah.
dancing, I'm not gonna be the only motherfucker out there like,
Yeah.
but
I've had that. I went to a wedding like not too long ago where nobody else was.
no,
really dancing.
wedding, different story. If
No,
no one's
yeah, you
dancing,
tear it up at a wedding.
I'll
Yeah.
dance. Me and the bride will dance. Someone is gonna dance.
Somebody dance with me.
This is a goddamn celebration.
Yeah.
You have to dance. That's law.
It's
It
law.
should be on like the RSVP required to dance. Like it's in the
I'm
fine
required
print.
to dance. Don't come to my fucking wedding then. Don't like to dance, don't come to my fucking wedding.
I want fun people at my reception. You can come to ceremony all you want, but if you're not going to dance, you're not getting my food.
I just at least the what is that? The Cupid Shuffle at the very least.
That's something.
Slide to the left.
Even
Fucking
you can give me one song.
one song.
You can even put on the
Give me
hokey pokey.
one dance.
If that's gonna get you on the dance floor is the hokey pokey, then you can
Hey,
do that.
Whatever, man. Monster Mash. I don't give a fuck.
The Monster Mash.
I don't care if it's May. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, something.
Something.
Yeah. But yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I'm excited. I don't have to buy a homecoming outfit.
I know.
That's what I'm most happy about.
Yeah,
I
but
really lucked out.
I do.
You do.
So,
you do.
but yeah, that'll be fun. More hijinks this evening. But yeah, that's what happened. It's our busy season.
Yeah.
It's good problems to have. If we don't have the time to sit down and just watch movies and TV shows all the time, well, hey, that's
Then
okay.
that's okay too.
That's okay. If you get a shorter episode or just a filler episode, well, that's because good things have been happening or bad things have been happening, impactful things.
Yeah.
But
I still was able to get
you watched a few,
a couple things in.
I wouldn't call it a handful, but
No.
a pinch.
Yeah.
A pinch of
It
movies.
was a pinch of movies. Just a little bit.
Well, let's hear them.
Let's get into it. It was oh shoot. What was the first one? Oh, Companion.
Companion. Awesome. Didn't see it.
Did not watch it, but I did enjoy it.
Well, good.
I thought it was,
I heard good things.
well, good things were ahead.
Well, good.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was one of the more fun, like, robot AI type movies
I
I've
feel
seen
you.
recently.
I liked their marketing for it. I thought it was very clever. I definitely didn't know what to expect from this movie for a while, until like it got closer to release time, and then I feel like they started to reveal that she was a robot more so in the marketing, because that initial trailer where it's just like from the studio that brought you The Notebook and it's like comes a different kind of rom-com or whatever it said, and then that girl just like puts her hand over the candle and her arm lights on fire. I'm like, what the fuck is this movie? And then later they're like, oh, she's an AI. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that explains more, but I would have liked to have figured that out watching the movie, I feel like.
It doesn't
No.
really take anything away from it.
I figured it's just such a big part of it.
Yeah.
It's like the thing. It's like we ain't hiding it.
Yeah.
It's
It's pretty early on that. I mean, they like tease some things like at the beginning.
Yeah.
Or it's like maybe you didn't know.
Well, not even necessarily as like a twist within the story, but just like if you just threw it on and knew nothing about it.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, oh shit, is that what this movie is?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
they even read like the
it's little. It only
little
lasts the
summary.
one time, but
Yeah.
it would have been nice.
I'm sure it will happen for some people.
For sure. Yeah, no, I'm excited to see that one.
It wasn't bad. It was not bad. I watched Life,
Ooh, Life.
which was not as fun
No.
as Companion.
Never is Life.
And like I went into it and I thought I wish I would have watched High Life.
Oh, with
Robert
Robert
Pattinson,
Pattinson?
yeah.
Another A24.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
So
I haven't seen that one either.
So I could have just kept riding that train, but I watched Life instead. And it was all right. I mean, it wasn't like, it just wasn't anything crazy. And I felt like when I saw the ending and it was like that twist ending or whatever with like the alien going to Earth, I was just like,
I just
man.
didn't care, man. The whole movie I was
And
just
that's
like,
for someone who loves like a good like,
Yeah.
like a little bit more of a fucked up ending. And I'm
Right.
just like,
it just felt so, I don't know.
but the funny thing is, it's like even if it would have been reversed and the mission just worked and the alien went into deep space and she came back to Earth, it's still just as unsatisfying
Yeah.
as an ending. You know what I'm saying?
It's
Like
just an unsatisfying movie.
Yeah,
It's just like kind of
it's-
like what was the point here? Like I don't get this movie.
I don't know. It was, yeah.
It wasn't my thing. Yeah, I expected more because they were really hyping it up because they were like, oh, from the writers of like Deadpool, but they weren't trying to be like, oh, it's going to be funny like Deadpool. It's just the same guys
Yeah.
came up with this, and then Jake Gyllenhaal, Ryan Reynolds, like okay. Even now, come to think of it, even the marketing was weird for it. It just makes no sense. It's like, what are you trying to sell here?
I don't know.
I don't know either. It just I wasn't crazy. That was another one that came out when I was working at Family Video, and I'm glad. I don't think I paid to watch that one.
Neither did I.
You know,
well,
so-
I guess technically you
Well,
could say I did.
Subscription. Whatever.
Yeah. But
But yeah, I was like, yeah, that sucked, kind of. I was like, I wasn't crazy about this.
and then and I got one more. Should I just jump?
Just do it.
Just rip off
Just
the
do it.
Band-Aid. And it's like, it's a documentary of the week.
Yeah.
But and it was probably one of my least favorite documentaries.
Oh.
And it
I
was,
thought last week was one of your least favorites.
what did I watch last week?
Oh,
The Titanic. Yeah. No, even worse.
Oh, no.
it
What
was
was this?
2073.
2073. That's right.
It was like the half thriller, half like documentary, and like it really threw me off at first, because like I really felt like it was just like this movie that was supposed to take place in like a dystopian America in 2073, and I was like, well, how is this a documentary? And then
Right.
it cut back to, and it was just like talking about all the world leaders and how they were just like all in it for the power, and
Yeah.
how, you know, we need to have a voice and stuff like that. And I'm just like, oh, well, if I would have known it was gonna be this, I probably just wanted to watch it. Like,
Yawn.
it's just like boring, and I just don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I feel you.
I'm just not that I don't agree with what they're saying necessarily.
Because like
just,
it's like part of it's like
not what I
feels like a
want.
lot of hypothetical.
Yeah,
You know, it
or
sounds
just
like
making
or just like
assumptions.
a perspective.
Yeah.
You know. I don't know.
So I mean, it was just not really what I wanted to watch, and so I
Yeah.
kind of just
I feel you.
checked out a little bit. But it's just just not my cup of tea. It's like I hear about that kind of stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Like if I'm watching a movie, that's not necessarily what I want
Right.
to have to listen to. And I didn't feel like the little side movie they had going on didn't like engage me enough to be like, okay, well at least this is cool. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just like whatever. It's just a bunch of people who pick up scraps.
So it's like, we need to release something. What do we got? Somebody's like, well, I got half this movie, and I've got half this documentary. And they're like, maybe we can put them together.
Yeah, they all work, right?
Somebody's like, this is disastrous. They're like, but it'll pass. Put it out.
Yeah.
Pull it out.
So and it was crazy because I'm pretty sure it was like ranked on like the max like
top 10 or whatever.
releases or so whatever.
But did it stay there long? That's
I
the
don't know.
question.
I mean, I just watched it recently,
Right.
so
Well, it only recently came out, so
I mean, that is true. So
Yeah.
how long will it stay? Is the
Yeah.
question.
it may not even be there now.
It's very possible.
It's very possible. We didn't check.
I don't know, maybe some people loved it. It's just not my thing.
Hey, maybe.
It's always possible.
Maybe.
There's a lot of.
Some people eat, sleep, and breathe that type of shit.
Oh yeah, there's someone who there's people I know who I could suggest that to. That,
Right,
that
who would
really
love
get
it.
a
Eat
kick
it
out
up.
of it. Like, thank you so much for recommending that documentary.
Just
to me.
like there's some people who you know their whole life is talking about the Titanic. You know, it happens.
it does happen. Like there's something out there for everyone because there's enough people who love the Titanic crash
Follow
to be
your
like,
dreams.
let me watch this. I've been waiting my whole life to see this.
I do want to know about the Titanic. Tell me your tales. Old
I'm
son.
actually in school right now to learn about the Titanic, but I need to leave them alone.
Oh, we've only just started.
It's just
That's the next thing for the next 25 episodes.
I was just making fun of
is
that.
ripping on the Titanic experts.
Oh, that'd be kind of funny though. To be honest.
They'd not let us on the door for sure.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
for sure.
Yeah. If we went on a second Titanic, they'd be like, "Fuck you."
They wouldn't
They'd
let-
say, "Let go, Jack." Oh,
They wouldn't even let us see an exhibit.
oh, whoa.
You know, we're banned from the Titanic.
Right.
Indefinitely.
They re-release it in 3D again. We're all stoked. It's an IMAX, and they're like, "Sorry, boys, you're on the
not
list."
and it's just us.
There's a list.
It's just Phil and Chase. Because everyone else loves the Titanic
Right.
and their
This
workers.
is all the experts.
Yeah.
This is an experts only showing. Oh.
Ugh. Oh.
We pulled up all this old shit of you talking jazz about James Cameron. You're not going back on that now.
Oh, did I talk?
No, I talked a lot of shit about James Cameron.
Oh yeah, with like Avatar and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jurassic Park. You said
Jurassic Park. That's
No,
Steven Spielberg.
yeah.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm just messing up.
Avatar, yes. Avatar 2 made me a believer. It changed me. And I own up to it. People are like, oh, you weren't a fan of it. That is true. I was not until Avatar 2. But, like, I don't know. He makes good things. I don't know. I get hung up on certain things, too. Plus, like, sometimes when you're younger, you just, like, I don't know. You just say shit. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're younger.
Yeah.
You're just saying shit. It happens.
It's okay.
It happens.
We can learn from our mistakes.
Well, I only watched one movie.
Yeah.
Just the one.
And you don't want to talk about it, so.
Meant to watch many. Well, I'll talk about it. Now, hey, wait, I'll talk about it. No, I watched Spy Kids, the OG.
Favorite.
I love Spy Kids, dude. I grew up with Spy Kids.
That was like the first scary movie I ever watched.
A scary movie? Is that what you said?
It freaked me out, dude.
Well, of course. It was the first movie in my life I ever left in the theater because my grandma took me. And this time around, I was curious. I checked the time on the movie when we were watching it to see how long I lasted in theaters before my grandma, we got to bounce. 30 minutes.
Nice.
I definitely thought it was longer. Definitely thought it was longer.
You thought you were holding out more?
Yeah. I made it 30. There was like an hour left of this movie. 30 minutes in, and I was like, Grandma, I can't handle this shit. When they turn Uncle Felix into a Foogly, I said, I'm out. I'm done. It freaked me the fuck out as a kid. I was like, I can't.
They were creepy as shit, though.
They were creepy as shit.
Like, it was really weird to see, like,
Floops.
Yeah.
Fooglies.
It was just creepy.
Yeah.
It was really jarring. It was very jarring as a kid.
It really was.
That's why I called it a horror movie.
And the thing is,
it scared me, but
those designs were scary. But it was like seeing him go through with the plan, seeing him transform this man into a Foogly. I said, "No more, Grandma."
And that was 30 minutes in,
and we are done here. Let's go.
Did they change him back?
My mom was mad at me for making my grandma leave the theater.
Oh.
I was like, it scared me.
How old were you?
Do what? How old was I? I mean, this is when it fucking came out. So, like, I don't know. I forget what year that was. I don't remember what year.
You said it to me as if, like, I should just.
It would have been like.
Early 2000s, right?
Oh, for sure. Like 2000 or 2001.
Yeah.
Even. And so.
They were like.
It would have been like kindergarten, first grade for me. Yeah.
I was just trying to figure out.
Hey, I'm all right, man. Okay. But I'd go around, I'd talk into my watch and stuff, which is the thing for me. Like, now it's a real thing. A lot of the shit I was like, yeah, Spy Kid. I want to be a Spy Kid and have all these cool gadgets. Well, now Apple does most of those things.
Yeah, now those cool gadgets are here.
Right.
So, you know what? Fuck that.
Right. I feel like Junie in the second one when they tell him this is the latest and greatest technology, but then Gary and Gertie show up and they've got the latest and greatest, and he's like, "What the fuck? I got this janky ass." I will say this about Spy Kids too. It's my favorite. I think
we both talked about that.
I just think it has everything, and it was the one that I, like, when it came out on DVD, I watched the ever-loving shit out of it. It came out around the same time as Chamber of Secrets, because I just watched those on repeat over and over and over again, those fucking movies. And,
Myrtle.
It had everything, dude. It was a good one. And of course, Spy Kids 3D was the first movie seen in theaters in 3D.
Same.
Like, shit was crazy. I was like, this is so cool.
Because that was... I remember seeing that in theaters. And I thought it was so cool.
It was.
This is awesome.
It set a bar for me for 3D. Because then, I ran into that guy that one time. He's like, well, that's not real 3D. When you're doing it like that, he thinks of real 3D as what it is today, where it just adds more depth of field to whatever you're looking at, really. Yeah. Like, it's not... But even Robert Rodriguez on that podcast I listened to recently was talking about how he likes to do theme park 3D. Like, he wants it to, like, you know,
Right.
everything, you know, flying into your face. And I'm like, yes. I told you, listening to that, I'm just like, man, he really was such a big influence on me.
Yeah, and I have to listen to it.
To a subconscious degree. I'm just like, there are things that I picked up from being a kid, watching Spy Kids and just consuming all the bonus features on those things and watching them countless amounts of times, that I feel like I learned so much about filmmaking from this guy. And I carry so much of those standards today, whether I realize it or not.
Oh yeah.
You know? And I'm just like, because I always say my favorite types of kids movies are those types of kids movies. Like, these are for kids, you know, unabashedly for kids, you know. Whereas, like, you know, on the flip side, he does these like R-rated adult movies, and he'll just flip a switch, just boop, boop,
Yep.
boop, you know. They're both kind of over the top in their own ways, but I'm like, that looks like the life, you know. That looks like so much fun. He works with all of his kids, because the one kid, fucking Racer is his name. When he was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 or something, he helped his dad write Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl. He, you know, Robert Rodriguez would just ask his kid, you know, oh, well, tell me more about Shark Boy and Lava Girl, and he would. He just,
Yeah.
you know, and he made a kids movie, but that a kid wrote, you know.
And I enjoyed Shark.
And I
Boy
did
Lava
too,
Girl.
you know, right up there with Spy Kids. Like, there's just like a thing about it. Like, when you're a kid, that's it, man. That's some rad stuff.
Yeah,
So I always enjoy that, you know.
I feel you.
Spy Kids.
Spy Kids, man.
Dun, 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 dun,
And you said
dun,
they're
dun,
making
dun.
more.
Making more?
Or there, I guess there's
Shit,
more.
they might. There are more.
More was made than I was aware of.
Yes.
We'll say that.
Yes, that
I
much
thought
is
there
true.
was 4, and turns out there was 5.
Netflix said, we'll pay you for another one. He said, man, fuck it. Okay.
Sure.
You know. But yeah.
Spy Kids.
And that is everything we watch. We just stopped. We have a record low episode.
A record low.
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's all it's been?
Well, we only watched 4 movies.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. Well,
So, Star Wars, huh?
so Star Wars. Yeah, I loved it. I've loved it my whole life.
Yeah, Star Wars Day.
Speaking of something that, you know, I would just watch over and over again, I watched the Star Wars movies over and over again when I was
Yeah.
growing up. And so I've always been a big fan. I've watched everything that, you know, they've made since then and
Yeah.
in between, and been going through and watching it again. And it's just rad. It's just like it's like a little world to escape to, no matter how clunky it can be sometimes.
I feel you. I know recently I confessed to losing the magic akin to learning Santa Claus isn't real
Yeah,
with Star Wars, but like I believe I can come back, you know, to the light.
it happens.
Because, you know, I love Star Wars too. You know, growing up,
Yeah.
I love a good world building, and Star Wars definitely has that. You know,
Yeah,
it is a
they
world.
definitely
That
have a whole galaxy.
I like sinking my teeth into, whether it be like the books or the video game. The fact that they are all connected, like I like that. I do
Yeah.
think that's cool. Yeah, it's a bit overwhelming sometimes, but you know, take what you like and leave the rest, whatever.
Yeah,
But yeah, their little Star Wars Day thing they dropped. I was like, you know, I haven't seen some of these in a minute. I know we like kind of marathoned them like about 5 years ago now.
something like that. Yeah,
Like all the movies at least. But I was like, yeah, I'd love to at least go back and just watch like the movies, you know? Like,
yeah,
because especially like I haven't seen that the new trilogy since we watched them all then.
yeah.
And I've only ever seen those are the ones I've seen the least amount of times for sure.
Yeah,
You know,
makes
for
sense.
sure. Because I definitely grew up watching the prequels because that's
Yeah.
what came out in our time.
Yeah,
Because I remember very distinct memory of going to a video store. It was a video store / laundromat with my grandma, staying the night over there, and I rented VHS tapes of The Phantom Menace and Pokemon the movie. And I had to choose one to watch that night, and then I got to watch the other one the next day. And I think I went with Pokemon that night, and then the next day I watched The Phantom Menace. And I have distinct memories of Jar Jar Binks and stuff, and
Yeah.
only to farther proves the point that like Jar Jar Binks is fully made for children, and it's like it worked. As a child, I didn't see the problem,
Yeah.
So growing up, I still don't necessarily see the problem. Like I see where he could get on people's nerves, but he's never as bad to me as like some of the parodies of Jar Jar Binks make him out to be. But I'm sure at the time it was probably very jarring for some Star Wars fans. Yeah, I watched Phantom Menace, but it was Attack of the Clones. The DVD era, but there's a lot of sequels got watched a lot of times. The 2 was just a multiplier for how many times. I said, keep going. Attack of the Clones, I watched it all the time, dude. That was the one I had on DVD. Watched it all the fucking time.
Probably one of my least favorites.
Least favorites, watch it all the time. And even now, if I was to just throw one on, I'd probably do Attack of the Clones just because I'm like, there's a familiarity to it.
I suppose so.
Going to sleep at night with like one of your 6 movies on, and it's like Attack of the Clones.
It is a snoozer.
Yeah, for sure.
The first, I mean, it's not like horrible by any means.
No.
But there are just like...
It's rough.
It can be rough, like sand.
Like sand. Rough,
so,
coarse, there's all of it.
It gets everywhere.
It gets everywhere.
But yeah, I don't know.
How did Attack of the Clones get in here?
But what's crazy to me is like sometimes I don't even like Star Wars fans.
No, I feel that 100%.
Yeah. Because I don't know the way, and I've talked about this before a lot because there's another guy I work with who's a big Star Wars fan, so we've had some pretty in-depth conversations about it. But like my thing is like just I don't know, appreciate that they're trying to build this like whole world. Like I feel like every time they come out with something, they're like, I didn't like it. Like the Acolyte and stuff like that, where it's like, I didn't think it was that bad. Yeah. Like I enjoyed what I watched, and then like all of a sudden it's like they clearly set it up to make like more seasons. They're like, oh yeah, it's been canceled after like it was done like within a week.
Because you get all these people with predisposition to hate it in the first place, and then I feel like you see this with other fandoms, but Star Wars ones are kind of the worst about being fucking racist and sexist about shit. Yeah. They're very gatekeepy. It's just very weird, and it's just like they're fanatics. They really are. They're just like, hey, chill out. It's just movies, man. It's all make believe. This was a long, long time ago.
Yeah,
far, far away from here. So this doesn't need to get that serious. But yeah, I feel you. Some people take it too goddamn far. People make it toxic. I feel like it's like the Hollywood industry almost kind of started to eat itself because of the franchising of things.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, it's like, what the fans are like, we want this. It's like, what you want? I didn't hear you. It's like, you want this? And then they give it to them. They're like, yeah, you want this? Yeah. And it just like, they kept going. But then when they didn't have like big pieces, they're feeding the lions the big pieces of meat, and then they're like, oh fuck, we're down to like a few niblets in here. Where do it's like, we don't have enough for these guys. They're ravenous, and they're like, we want more. But then they get stuff, they're like, this isn't good enough. We want this. We want it to made exactly the way we want it made. And it's like, then go through the whole process of having a filmmaking career and see if you can get lucky enough to make a Star Wars product, and then tell your own goddamn fucking story, and then it can be whatever you want it to be,
Even then, like, I don't know. There has to be, like, limitations.
Of course. Play within the grounds of the sandbox. Like, that's what makes worlds fun.
Yeah.
And interesting.
That's the thing, too, is, like, there is so much, like, variety within Star Wars. Like, there's so many different planets and, like, cultures of species and, like, aliens and stuff like that, where it's, like, there's so much like, there's, like, you have your Jedis, your bounty hunters, like, people in the Senate, outlaws, whatever. Like, there's so much to play with. And sometimes I feel like people don't play enough. It's like, get in there, jump in, and have fun. Like there's
no doubt.
You know what I'm saying? It's like we don't have to follow like, and that's kind of like my problem with the new trilogy.
Yeah,
I felt like they just kept on doing
the same thing.
Old things. It's like, but we've seen
Right.
and I don't know. Some people,
and 7 was like, we're doing the Death Star again. People were like, oh, well, it's just nice to see Star Wars back. And then 8 did something totally different. They were like, what the fuck? And so then they went back to formula on the 9th one. They were like, all right, hey, another Death Star. And people
and
were
the
just
Emperor's
like,
back, and
it's
just
a little too hard of a course correction, I feel like.
I don't know, because the 8th one wasn't even that bad.
No, I really like the 8th one, because I tell people this a lot, but I'm not just saying it to be, an asshole, but I did like it because it ended up being a fuck you to all of these people who wanted it to be one thing. And like, yes, that is like a part of why I liked it. But at the time it came out, when I say that, it's because after The Force Awakens happened, there was nothing but speculation. Like that was very early on, I feel like, in the days where people, like what it is now, of like the way people chat about movies and like speculate, and it's become like a whole industry at this point, you know? And like,
because there's people who just
not to say it wasn't there before, but like I feel like for me, I noticed it just in day-to-day conversation more when Force Awakens came out. Like after that happened, like you would hear any sort of type of motherfucker went and saw this movie talking about like, oh, who's Rey's parents? Who's this? Who's that? Oh, I'm guessing they're guessing all this shit. And then everybody started getting ideas in their head, expectations, Philip, for what this 8th movie was going to be. And then it came out, and dude had his own ideas. The guy who's making it, Ryan Johnson, I think is who made that one. He did his own thing. And I liked it. I enjoyed it solely for the fact that it was like fresh. It was like a different story.
Yeah.
I was like, thank you for that. I like that. And everybody said, fuck that, dude. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
It's not what I had in my head.
It's just people can ruin things sometimes. So it's just wild. I mean, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Like,
Haters,
why?
man.
Just appreciate it for what it is. Like, if you love Star Wars, then love Star Wars. Don't love to hate Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't hate, appreciate.
Yeah. If you're a fan, then be a fan. Don't be...
If not, then don't. Why waste the time?
Don't criticize every decision that's made. But there's some people out there. There's some people who only like the original trilogy.
Oh yeah,
like, and won't
these
watch
purists.
any stuff like that. Where it's like,
I know people like that across the board who are just like very much rooted in like, I don't know if nostalgia is the right word for it. Maybe it is, but like they're just like, no, the old stuff was the best stuff, and it's like you can't go new with it. Like so like I know comic books. Some people are like, this is our buddy Dave. Not to like call Dave out here, but like he's a bit of a historian himself. It's part of his nostalgic viewpoint. Camp nostalgia. And when it comes to comic books, he's said before, for him, it's all about the early era. It's that first wave of Stan Lee's and Jack Kirby's and Bob Kane's and shit like that. That's his era. He doesn't really give a shit about the new stuff.
all right.
But for me, I'm a man of variety. Like I'm willing to check new stuff out. I have comics that are some of my favorite that have only come out within like the last 10 years. It's like, because I'm open to it. They're characters that are completely like newbies compared to, your Spider-Mans and whatnot. But it's because I'm just open to it. I'm open to the new school and the old school. Like,
you're just here to appreciate.
I'm just happy to keep it. And that's how I feel about Marvel, like movies. People be hating. I'm just happy to get them.
Yeah.
I
always try to go in with like hoping to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't have like these like wild, like, oh, this is going to be the best Marvel movie ever. Like, and I feel like that's what a lot of people want every time they see a Marvel movie. It's just for it to be.
Is this the next end game?
Yeah.
Is this the next end game?
Even like with Captain America, A Brave New World or whatever.
Yeah.
It was like, I wasn't expecting it to blow my socks off.
It was about right on par with
yeah,
what I
that's pretty much
expected.
what I thought I was gonna get out of this Captain America movie, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I didn't leave disappointed. I wasn't like, oh man.
You know, it's like nowadays people are like, "Oh, what a piece of shit! One of the worst Marvel movies." Blah blah blah. It's like, well, back in my day, we just called that Thor: The Dark World. Like it was just the movie that wasn't as good. You know, like
Yeah.
no, it is what it is.
Oh,
You
like,
get a
'cause
weak link in every franchise.
not every movie's gonna be a hit.
No,
And I feel like
because
that's the problem, like with Marvel too, a little bit. It's just because like they had such a long stretch of like everyone just loving every
Yeah.
movie.
they went too high. They really did like peak in a sense, where to the point where the fans would not let them back down. They were like,
Yeah.
"No, you have to keep doing better, do better,
We
do better."
can't go any higher.
Yeah,
than this.
don't regress. Don't go back to just something basic. Now you
Back
have
to
to.
formula.
Now we want an end game every time. It's like no. That's something special. Those only come along every so often. And I don't know. And yeah, there've been some that are like weaker, but I don't know. There's been all sorts of shit going on.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like
We've had strikes and all kinds of
strikes and
stuff.
COVID and scandals and all sorts of shit that it's like, you know, but you know, that's what happens when you make plans so far in advance.
Yeah.
You know.
Things do come up.
Mm-hmm.
So you just gotta roll with the punches. So
Yeah. But no, I'm it's about that time. Yeah, I watched Star Wars 2 a lot as a kid. I remember Star Wars 3, Revenge of the Sith, was the first one I saw in theaters.
I used to play the shit out of the game.
I played the game a little bit, I think, yeah. And then I got that VHS set of the trilogy, the OG trilogy, from like a yard sale one day. And apparently those are worth money now. I wish I still had it.
Hell yeah.
But because I got it for like $6 or some shit at some yard sale. At the time, a VHS would be worth that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I would watch like the old ones and stuff. But even at that point, like, I don't think I fully watched the original trilogy until a ways. Like I would have had met you by the time, you know, I actually sat down and watched the originals. So it would have been like maybe high school, junior high.
I feel you.
Around there. But I always liked them, you know. Had a lot of respect for them. It was kind of like what we were talking about, was that last week, about the Star Trek versus Star Wars thing?
Yeah.
Where it's like, I feel like for me, I love the world building of Star Wars, but I like the zippy adventures of Star Trek.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like I'm far more likely to rewatch Star Trek than Star Wars in its entirety, because it's not only massive, it's thick, it's dense. Like it's
Yeah.
not zippy fun. It's politics. It's intrigue. It's
Yeah.
fucking deception. It's
Yeah.
all that kind of shit, which is like, it's entertaining, but also it's a lot.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I'm excited. I still think, as of my last watch through, I think Rogue One is still my favorite, man.
That's good.
I love it. And then I keep hearing great things about Andor.
The
I
first
need to just
season was
watch it.
fantastic.
I've heard good things about the second season that's out right now.
So I enjoyed it. I really did.
You started season 2?
No.
Oh, well, got that to look forward to. I
Probably
guess.
just gonna wait for it to end like I do everything else.
Well, yeah, no, they are probably doing it week to week, aren't they?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So, but yeah, I saw some glowing reviews about it. So I'm like, cool. I'll have to check it out. So I definitely plan on it.
Part of me feels like a lot of people made this complaint about Rogue One, but now people are turning around, they're like, oh, Andor's great. And I'm like, oh, so we're just going to ignore the fact that it's the same fucking thing that upset you about Rogue One, but it's fine now? Because everybody with Rogue One is like, well, you know what's going to happen.
So
It's like, it literally goes right up to the moment of like, you know, somebody, if they're getting the Death Star plans, like, well, we all kind of know where that's going to go. And it's like, well, I fucking didn't. You know, when the ending of that movie happened, I was like, oh, wait a second, what? I was like, they just fucking annihilated everybody. I mean, yeah, the thought crossed my mind. I'm like, weird. You know,
they could have escaped.
well, my thing was like, a lot of people were like, isn't it obvious? Like, you never see any of these characters in later stuff or, you know, anything like that. And my thing was like, Yeah, but this was made after the fact. Like maybe it could have just been like, oh, these people were lost to history. We never talked about them. You know, like sort of thing. Or like maybe they try to do one of those things where they tie it back in later, like, oh well, this old character and this new character meet up or whatever the fuck. You know, I didn't know they were all gonna fucking die. Like, what the fuck, you know? But people would bitch. They were like, everybody knew where it was going. So,
super obvious.
Well, it's not very good because you know where it's going. Okay, well, Andor is literally the next step backwards. And from what I hear, Andor season 2 ends, book like whoop right up next to Rogue One. So it's like Andor ends, Rogue One begins. Like,
right,
which is cool. I like that. I do. I like this filling in the cracks that they're doing to where you can just have this seamless story if you wanted to, where it's just like Andor into Rogue One into New Hope, like you know, and it just kind of that's pretty dope in my opinion. I like that.
So yeah, it's just like the only thing that sucks about that is there's just so much gap to fill because it takes such big chunks of time, and then it's like all this stuff happened. I remember even like at the end of episode 2, they're like, "Oh, the Clone Wars has begun," and then at the beginning of the third one, it's pretty much wrapping up.
The Clone Wars has ended.
Yeah, so it's like it's Star Wars, but where's the wars at? Like, you skip the whole war.
And a lot of people's favorite thing is the Clone Wars. A lot of people really love the Clone Wars.
I love it. I always was super intrigued, like with the thought of the Clone Wars. I was like, isn't this just cool?
Isn't this something?
You get to have people just shoot robots. Like, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And no, never got to explore it until like the show came out. Really?
Yeah.
I mean, because I've never really been big into like reading the books and stuff like that. But apparently, there's some that are canon.
Yes.
With everything that I just still haven't taken the time to just dive into.
Yep. So I think some of them I gave you recently. Those are all canon books. Yeah. Yep.
So
there's a whole.
And then I also have like my own personal gripes with Star Wars. I think they're real fuddy-duddy on some of their rules.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it's just crazy. Like, because there's, like, some things where, like, they'll make shit happen. Especially, like, in, like, the Ahsoka show and stuff like that, where I'm just like, I just don't like what you did there. It's like, I feel like with everything that, like, has happened, I feel like I want an explanation for this because it didn't really make sense, and it's just I don't know, it goes against
other things.
Like, it just shouldn't, it just contradicts itself. I'm like,
well, a lot of people said that before about like the Force, you know, and the midichlorian thing, and like people feel like that's gotten changed over time a few times now, apparently. I know you're one of the few people I heard say they didn't mind the Acolyte. But the Acolyte got torn to pieces. People were like, oh, this is the worst fucking Star Wars thing ever. You're like, I don't think so.
I didn't think so. There's a whole thing with like they were mad about the witches.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But I'm like, I don't know. The Force is just like a thing that connects all beings. Like that's essentially all it is.
Right. Yeah.
Some people are just more in touch with it than others, which allows them to do certain things. Like, but I don't know.
But that's the kind of shit I'm talking about. Like, you know, I'm not saying these things aren't without their flaws, you know. It's like, but you don't have to hate like that. Like, it's just like, you get these people who, you know, like I'll watch a show that night and then like, you know, when I see the talk or the buzz, the chatter online, there's something where it's like, everybody hates this and it's like, oh, they're offended by this or this. I'm like, what the fuck? Did we watch the same fucking thing? Like, I don't know what the hell they're talking about.
I remember you said, because you said something like they're mad about lesbians. I was like, lesbians? I was like, I didn't pick up on that at all.
There were lesbians in the Acolyte?
There is a cult of female witches. I don't know.
Lesbians, yeah.
They might have been lesbians, but I didn't think that it had any bearing on
the wars and the stars.
What I was watching.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, for people to, I didn't think it was bad. So I don't know why people were so upset about it, but
yeah.
But then people loved Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
And I thought it was just okay. I wasn't like super blown away by it. Yeah. So like the fact that everyone's like, oh yeah. And now it's getting a second season, and supposedly it's going to try to start tying into the Mandalorian timeline and stuff like that, is what I heard. So,
Interesting.
So,
Interesting.
I don't know. But we'll see.
We shall
I'll keep watching it. If Star Wars makes it,
I'll be there.
Philly will be there.
They do have that Mandalorian and Grogu movie coming out next year, I think.
Oh?
Yeah. Instead of doing another season, they're doing a movie.
Oh.
But in theaters. It ain't just going to be some Disney Plus joint.
I don't know.
Okay. He doesn't give a shit about these two anymore.
I don't know how I feel about that. You have to.
I feel you though. A lot of people don't. Actually, from what I've heard people say, I feel like a lot of people are like, I don't know how I feel.
So they're gonna do like one big season finale, like series finale, just wrap it up.
Well, from what I understand, what I think they're trying to do, from what I understand, is that like, I think they're gonna try to clean up, like maybe kind of try to streamline some stuff with like all the series that they've been doing recently, and like kind of tie some shit together that hasn't been up to that point, and kind of using the movie to do that.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. We'll see what happens. It could be good. I wouldn't be surprised if while we're doing all this, they drop a fucking trailer today or something.
Yeah.
I've been waiting to see what they drop for Star Wars Day
to do it.
It'd also be nice is to see some of that game we were talking about. The Eclipse.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That's on my radar now.
If you could show me that, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I really want to rent Outlaws from the library and play that. Because I played a lot of the... I would say I played a decent amount of the video games. I played a lot of Battlefront growing up.
It's true.
A lot.
You like your Star Wars games.
And I played like the Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor. I used to play this one where you'd fly around in a ship and me and my dad would play together. And I always be on that back gunner. Oh, I got us out of some tricky situations.
Yeah, I think the one I fucked around with was, I want to say it was Knights of the Old Republic, maybe.
That might have been.
Or maybe Jedi Knight or Academy or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah. Jedi Knight Academy.
Yeah. Fun stuff.
I tried to play it again on the PS4, but it was just a little too clunky for me. I'm like, it's not smooth enough.
They need to give that one a polish, I think.
They could go back there and give all of them like a good polish, and I'd play the show.
Oh yeah, they keep releasing the old versions of them, and I'm just like, it's the same thing as the Resident Evil thing. I can't do the old controls, dude. I just can't. I can't. The smoothness of today's controls has ruined me on the controls of yesteryear.
That's what's crazy too is even like in that regard, there's times where I'll try to go back and play like. We'll even say like PlayStation 3 games.
Oh yeah, dude.
Or like I try to play Infamous. I'm like, this is just not.
What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, because I never played it to begin with. Yeah. So I was like, oh, I know Chase liked him. This is a series like I feel like I can give do. I like that kind of stuff where your actions have consequences type stuff.
Yeah.
And I played like maybe like the first couple levels. I'm like, man, this just doesn't feel like the move to make.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for some of those games. I know one thing I've never really gotten into. I just haven't really had the opportunity per se, but Star Wars comic books. I haven't really read a lot of Star Wars comics.
Neither have I. I could probably say I've never read any.
Yeah. If I have, I've read a few here and there.
I've seen like clippets.
Yeah.
I've seen like pages before and stuff, but never actually like sat down to
give one a read.
Yeah.
I feel you. Yeah. Star Wars. I'm trying to think of anything else Star Wars coming up.
Who's your favorite character?
Who's my favorite? Well, I think you know, Phil. It's R2-D2.
He's a boss.
He's a boss. He's in my eyes, R2-D2 is the main character of the Star Wars.
He's like the Bilbo Baggins of Star Wars.
I'm saying. Skywalker what?
Yeah. There would be no Skywalker.
It's because R2 was a Skywalker. Yeah. That's the thing they don't talk about. That's what they won't tell you in the classroom, kids. This ain't about Luke This ain't about Leia. This ain't about Anakin. It's R2. He's a Skywalker. The
Ain't about
Skywalker
Rey.
saga. None of them. This is about R2D2 Skywalker.
R2D2 is the one that convinces Luke to train Rey in the first place.
But he does it all. He does it all.
There would be no movies without.
There wouldn't have been this many movies.
There would
without
be no
R2.
movies without R2. I mean, I can get down on that.
Who's yours?
Oh, I'll do it both ways. My favorite hero, I'd say, is R2D2. I'd get down on that. He's always so funny. Wow. You know, and then my favorite villain probably was Darth Vader. Still is.
Yeah.
He's the bad man.
When I was a kid and we saw Revenge of the Sith in theaters, Grievous was pretty badass. Of course, as a little kid, Darth Maul was fucking sick.
Darth Maul has a
Darth
crazy
Maul
story. arc.
still is fucking sick, but Grievous
Crazy
with
story arc.
all the arms and the purple lightsabers and shit, I was like, damn. I was always fond of for me, I'm gonna go purple lightsaber every time.
Hell
I
yeah.
preferred it. Samuel L. Jackson made that shit look cool as hell.
I usually go. I like a blue. I would do a blue over a green. But I also like a good orange. Or like a yellow. Preferably orange. I like a good
Yeah,
orange.
just name more colors, Phil.
There's white. There's the black saber, but that's completely
That's
different.
the absence of colors. So
Yeah. What else? I can't think of it. Red. If you want to be a Sith.
true. Oh, train.
Oh, and,
There it is.
And that's
There it is.
our cue.
Now I don't know how much I can get in before the train closes in on us. Yeah, I don't know if I have anything else to add to this Star Wars talk today.
Let's see. I don't know. We got 8 more minutes.
8 more minutes. I mean, I can't. I do have another thing we can discuss briefly to wrap things up on. A little follow up
Okay.
from last week. But first, a word from our train.
Just train. It's not a sponsor.
It's just
Phil and
train.
Chase podcast.
Phil and Chase Watch Everything is brought to you by Train.
It's so funny.
Oh, now it doesn't want to do the horn. Now
No, it's gonna be a silent train.
Yeah. Oh, sneaky little. Okay.
We made us stop and wait. It's like we needed to stall for time. Love Star Wars, and you have something to follow up on.
Yeah. Hey, there's a train in Solo.
There was a train in Solo. I was thinking about that.
I was racking my brain.
Um,
So last time follow up, I mentioned that I was going to start my Marvel Multiverse Marathon.
you did.
You
said we're gonna watch it together.
Yes. So I'm not gonna lie to you. Going into this, I think the era leading up to like some people might disagree. Some people might say Howard the Duck is included in this, but I think everything before Howard the Duck is going to be a rough patch to get through. Depending on I think literally right off the bat, there's already some that I'm like, I don't think I'm going to watch this. And I'm
Oh,
just
you're gonna watch it.
Oh, I don't know, man.
I can't
know.
force you to do anything.
Because the very first thing on the list, technically speaking, if I want to go like by like things that are Marvel that have like come out, is the 1944 Captain America like serial that they made where I think it was, I forget how many episodes it was, like 15 episodes or some shit like that. I don't know. But they have it all in like one cut. It's like 4 hours of black and white 1940s propaganda Captain America.
That'd be kind of funny to watch.
I mean, yes, but when you're sitting here by yourself
for 4 hours.
for 4 hours, like there's not enough fucking weed in the world.
I can't come see you the next day and be like, all right, I'm signing up for the army.
I will say this though, something I find funny is the very first time you see Captain America in that first episode, he shows up and he pulls a gun on these guys. I don't know why the image of that Captain America holding a gun, I was like, what? Captain America doesn't use guns, but he absolutely does. because he plugged these fools. And I was like, God damn, the 1940s were different. But that's not true at all. Captain America plugs fools even today. He's just nicer about it.
He's just nicer. Now he just mainly uses
He's
his
swifter.
shield.
They do quicker cuts. He John Wicks their ass. You blink and you miss it. But
it's a quick and painless
back
death.
then, he's like, put him up. Bow, bow. I was like, whoa, he plugged him. What is this, the Irishman or Captain America? Fucking.
I paint walls red.
Oh, but I hear you paint houses. Yeah, I don't know, man. That one's going to be rough. But now I'm like almost to the end of the first episode, so I'm like, well, shit. And then some of them seem like they're going to be really hard to find. You know? Which part of it sounds like an excuse to me, just because even if it takes a while to get through that patch, it's mostly like TV shows and stuff. But outside of that, I own everything past Howard the Duck. You know what I mean? Like, there's not going to be any of this, like, oh, I can't find it. You know, it's like, it's either right there or it's on fucking Disney Plus. Like, I got no excuses, really. Other than a few things that are going to be kind of hard to find. Like The Runaways, you know?
Yeah.
They fucking did away with The Runaways, which is still bizarre as fuck to me. Still
So it's
don't
just
understand.
like gone from
Yeah.
existence. Same like Cloak and Dagger.
No, but you can watch Cloak and Dagger now. It's on fucking Disney Plus now.
Can you really?
Yeah.
I might give it a rewatch.
Which is like, that's
I'm
awesome.
a little mad that they never made it anymore. That's another one where it's like you love something and people just don't vibe with it.
Which is another thing that I'm just like, I don't know.
Because they just got their powers at the end. I was like, now I'm ready to see them in action. And now
they
we're
didn't
done.
get a chance, man.
Golly.
But yeah, some of these are going to be rough because then it goes from that. And then it's like, some of it's complicated too because like it says, okay, so there's like 3 Spider-Man movies from like the 70s and 80s, right?
Right.
The first one's in 77. But what it actually is just like the pilot episode of the Spider-Man TV show from the 70s. And they just did it as like a feature-length thing, and then they released it as like a movie in some places to get people to watch the show. And then the second movie, which I think is Spider-Man Strikes Back, I think is what it's called, is just like a 2-part episode from the series that they released as a movie. The third movie, that's like something about dragons, I know it's not Enter the Dragon, but it's something like that.
Right.
Where it's like another 2-parter of this show that they just did as a movie. And so I'm like, okay, so should I just watch the show?
Yeah.
Is what I'm feeling. Like, just bypass, like, is there a difference? Like, is there like more to these movie cuts? Or like, can I just watch the 2-parter on TV and be good to go? You know what I mean?
You can be good to go.
I'm kind of feeling that way because it's a lot fucking simpler. And then you kind of run into that with the Incredible Hulk a little bit too. But then that is a big old bitch in and of itself because there's like 80 some episodes of that motherfucker. And these episodes are like an hour a piece. I'm like, what? I was like, what? I didn't know people had that kind of time back in the 80s.
Loved the Incredible Hulk like that back in the 80s.
But I always see that fucking box set. I guess it's time to pull the trigger.
I guess so.
But I am, of all the things, strangely enough, I am excited to get into those old Incredible Hulk movies. Just because of that video I watched about the old MCU that could have been. And Thor and Daredevil. And that, like the trial of the Incredible Hulk is all about like the Kingpin trying to frame the Hulk for some shit, and Daredevil like being in it, and Matt Murdock being his lawyer and all that shit. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Hell yeah.
I'm excited to watch I'm excited to watch the 1994 Fantastic Four that never saw the light of day. I'm excited to see that one. It never even got released. It's crazy. They're like, nope, can't do it. But I'm excited.
I heard
it
get talked about, but I've never seen it.
It's on YouTube, so I was like, well, I'll watch that one. And then what else is in that era I'm looking forward to? I'm low-key interested in the Doctor Strange from like 1978 or something.
Hell yeah.
That looks like it'll be a trip. Same with the Dolph Lundgren Punisher. Never seen that one from the 80s. So I'm excited. It'll be a nice little journey. But yeah, some of the shit's going to be rough to get through at first. And some of these stretches of TV shows as well. It's already overwhelming. Like the list, as it is currently, And that's not even like adding in like all the little short films, all that shit. It really racks up. We're looking at like not even going by like an episode by episode with like shows, just by title. Oh, you're pushing 200, bud.
Oh, jeez.
It's already at like 150, I think.
My
by
goodness.
the list. So I'm just like,
And that's including 80 Hulk episodes that are an hour long each.
right. That's not even, but that's all just in the one title. It's
Yeah.
the 80 hours of Hulk, and then you run into that same shit with like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. There's like over 100 episodes of that.
God damn.
I'm saying, thank God Spider-Man only ran for like 13 episodes. Shit. I need more of that.
Hell yeah.
You know?
You want to know what's funny, Chase?
Hey, what's funny?
Is I forgot I watched the movie.
Oh, you forgot you watched the movie. Have
Yeah.
fun. What did you watch?
And people are going to be mad that I forgot I watched it. Enter the Dragon.
Enter the Dragon. That is funny that you forgot that. I've never seen it.
It was-
Bruce Lee, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Well, it is a classic.
And I can tell why. It definitely
Fantastic.
is a classic.
I'm glad we went on this little yarn we went on then.
Yeah. Yeah. When you started talking about the Marvel movies, and I was like, oh, shit.
Low-key,
when
that
when you
reminds
said
me-
Spider-Man Strikes Back, and I was like, oh, shit. Wait just a second.
Dragon. That reminds me again. Coming up in the thing is going to be Iron Fist and stuff. And I feel like part of me stopped doing the Defenders marathon I was doing because I knew I was getting ready to just start from the beginning. I've been that way a bunch lately where like I just want to throw on a Marvel movie, but I'm like, I'm really not trying to fucking watch this. And then turn around and rewatch it again here soon when I get there in the marathon.
Yeah.
But it's a year. Who knows when the fuck I'll get back to some of this stuff.
That is true.
But Enter the Dragon. Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I thought,
I'm
it was
excited to see
pretty, I
that.
thought it was pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
I'd recommend it.
Hell yeah. Well, hey, that feels as good of a note as any
Oh, yeah.
to close this
Yeah.
puppy out on.
And I hope you guys bought into this week's episode.
Yeah.
I hope you guys really enjoyed it. And as always, I've been Phil.
And I've been Chase, and we gotta go get ready for a dance.
Oh, yeah, we're dancing.
Later.
See you.